It's Tuesday, September 13. In the headlines, health officials are investigating the first suspected monkeypox death in Jamaica. Prime Minister declares all students must have access to school resources. And in sports, West Indies women's team announced for upcoming tour. This is the news on PBC Jamaica. I'm Danita Rodney. The Ministry of Health is investigating the first suspected monkeypox death in Jamaica. It's reporting 3 more monkeypox cases, bringing the total number to 12. 2 of the latest cases were recorded in Kingston and 1 in Manchester. The Health Ministry shared the information in its weekly monkeypox update dated September 11.
No student must be denied access to a classroom and to the teacher that we pay for, and to the books that we give them, and to the school infrastructure that we fund, because they are unable to meet the other costs of the school.
This was a stern warning from Prime Minister Andrew Holness. He was speaking during the recently held Education Town Hall at the Jamaica College. He says some public schools are charging parents, quote, exorbitant fees which are exclusionary.
If we are truly serious about creating this equal society, then how can we punish a child who, by virtue of their household income, is unable to meet the school fee of the school in which the state places them, not by his income, not by his household income. He's placed there by virtue of his performance.
He noted that we have to look at ourselves and end discrimination due to one's ability or inability to pay.
It so happens that there is such a high correlation between performance and household income. But if we are to break that, then we need to ensure that all our children have access to a high-quality education. And those who come from poor households, who have incomes in the lower quintiles, that they should be able to go to school without feeling discriminated against.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Andrew Holness noted that change is coming for the education sector, but it has to start with those internally.
The transformation must be internal. The ministry itself must embrace the transformation. The ministry itself must see the benefit of the transformation, and the people in the ministry must lead the transformation.
He noted that his government is moving ahead with the implementation of the findings of the transformation report.
The report recommended that an education oversight committee be established. That committee has been established, and we have asked Dr. Adrian Stokes to take on the leadership of this committee. Again, let me thank Dr. Stokes publicly. This is not going to be an easy task. It is going to demand a lot of time, but the nation is hanging its hope that the oversight committee will do the necessary work and hold the ministry to account and inform the public of the progress. I know the ministry is busy at work in putting in place the various units for implementing the recommendations, and I am told that very shortly a chief transformation officer will be recruited. I think the recruitment process has started, almost at a completion, and an officer will be selected to head the unit. And that would be a significant milestone in the journey of transformation.
The 342-page document has 54 prioritized recommendations. These relate to governance and accountability, early childhood education, teaching curriculum and teacher training, tertiary education, technical and vocational education and training, infrastructure and technology, and finance, among other areas. Lieutenant General Rocky Ricardo Meade has been appointed as Cabinet Secretary and Head of the Public Service. Meade will succeed Ambassador Douglas Saunders, who will be stepping down on October 1 after serving in that role since June 2008. In a press release issued today, Prime Minister Andrew Holness notes that, and I quote, "Meade's years of experience in government will be an asset to the public service and a crucial part of our continued thrust towards efficiency and service excellence," end quote. Meade will assume his role as Cabinet Secretary on October 1, 2022. The Public Broadcasting Corporation of Jamaica has something to celebrate. The company on Monday received its award from YouTube after surpassing 100,000 subscribers. Technical Operations Manager Maurice Marshall, while unpacking the award, thanked viewers of the channel for trusting us to deliver the news and credible content to not only educate but to inspire.
This is our YouTube Silver Award. Just came. And this award is given when you have reached 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. So, of course, we are very grateful to all of the subscribers and persons who have been watching the channel on YouTube. PBCJ, we continue to bring the news, the Parliament, and all the other events that we carry.
CEO of the PBCJ, Keith Campbell, highlighted that this is a special moment for the PBCJ.
I think this is really a milestone for us to have reached. Given what we have, it is indeed a tribute to our hardworking staff and with what resources we have had to reach this milestone. And I would like to congratulate all of us here at the PBCJ, and I know we're going to be putting this plaque in a very prominent place for display, and we are going to be reaching even further other milestones in the very, very near future. But we are very proud of this. Congratulations to my staff and managers. This makes us all very proud.
The Public Broadcasting Corporation of Jamaica was created by an Act of Parliament in 1997 to fulfill the need to transmit positive values and attitudes within society via audiovisual broadcasts. The PBCJ disseminates news, information, and ideas on matters of public interest produced by government agencies that contribute to the education of the Jamaican audience. The agency also focuses on literary and artistic expression, the development of culture, human resources and sports, and respect for fundamental rights and values. Congrats! As the monkeypox disease continues to be the talking point around the world, we take a look at what is monkeypox and how it is spread in this edition of Living Healthy.
Monkeypox is a rare disease that is similar to smallpox and can be transmitted by contact and droplet exposure. The disease is caused by the monkeypox virus, a member of the orthopox virus genus. While smallpox was eradicated in 1980, monkeypox continues to occur, mainly in countries of Central and West Africa.
The virus is normally found in animals, but the disease may be transmitted from animals to humans, usually through bites or scratches or consumption of bushmeat.
Cases have been found in animals such as squirrels, Gambian poached rats, dormice, different species of monkeys, and others. Human-to-human transmission can occur through contact with bodily fluids, lesions on the skin or internal mucosal surfaces such as in the mouth or throat, respiratory droplets, and contaminated objects.
Milder cases of monkeypox may go undetected and represent a risk of person-to-person transmission. Children are at high risk, and monkeypox during pregnancy may lead to complications, congenital monkeypox, or stillbirth.
Detection of viral DNA by a polymerase chain reaction PCR test is the preferred laboratory test for monkeypox. Antigen and antibody detection methods may not be as useful as they do not distinguish between orthopox viruses. Persons infected with monkeypox usually present with a fever, rash, and swollen lymph nodes. In addition to the swollen lymph nodes, the fever stage of the illness usually lasts 1 to 3 days and can come with intense headache, back pain, muscle ache, and an intense lack of energy. This is followed by the skin eruption stage, which lasts for 2 to 4 weeks.
The incubation period is usually 6 to 13 days, but it can range from 5 to 21 days. The disease is often self-limiting, with symptoms usually resolving spontaneously within 14 to 21 days.
Treatment of monkeypox patients is dependent on the symptoms. Vaccines used for smallpox eradication have provided protection against monkeypox, while newer vaccines have been developed to specifically prevent this disease, one of which has been approved by the World Health Organization. Persons can also protect themselves using the same safety protocols for COVID-19.
Present COVID-19 measures of practicing physical distancing, mask wearing, and frequent hand sanitization will also reduce the likelihood of transmission of monkeypox virus.
In recent times, monkeypox outbreaks have been reported in Europe, North America, and Australia, with more countries reporting cases. Most cases are linked to persons with recent travel to countries where monkeypox is endemic, mainly in the region of West Africa. But caution is urged all around the world. The World Health Organization says the current outbreak is spreading primarily through sexual contact.
Persons must report to the health department if they develop a fever, a rash, following recent international travel, or close contact with persons who have traveled to endemic countries. Healthcare workers must also have a heightened sense of awareness of this disease that has been spreading in some countries and report suspected cases to the health department.
Prevention of diseases is important to our well-being, so let's all remain vigilant and practice good hygiene and measures that protect us against the monkeypox and other contagious viruses. Be safe for long life. Stay in good health.
Tax Administration Jamaica TAJ is reminding business persons that their third quarter estimated corporate income tax and self-employed statutory payments are due on Thursday, September 15, 2022. Additionally, employers' monthly statutory payment deductions for the month of August are due on September 14. These include statutory payments for August, estimated corporate income tax third quarter, self-employed statutory payment third quarter, stamp duty third quarter, trade license, and withholding tax. Business persons are reminded that they have several payment options at their fingertips, and for further information, persons may contact the tax administration. The Jamaica-based Chukka Caribbean Adventures will pump $5 million or 750 million Jamaican dollars into a new adventure park in Antigua and Barbuda. This is according to Antigua's Tourism Authority Chief Executive Officer Colin James. Reports are that 20% of the attraction will be owned by the Antiguans and 80% by Chukka. Excited about the prospects, the Tourism Authority CEO says the investment was extremely important for Antigua as it allows cruise ship and stayover visitors the opportunity to spend more. For market updates, in foreign exchange trading for Monday, September 12, the US dollar sold for an average of $152.99. The Canadian dollar ended trading at $118.20. The pound sterling traded for $176.08, and the euro sold for $158.20. In JSE trading, the JSE index declined by 67 points to close at over 300,000 units. The junior market index declined by 26 points to close at over 4,000 units. The combined market index declined by 300 points to close at over 300,000 units. And the All-Jamaican Composite Index declined by 259 points to close at over 400,000 units. Overall market activity resulted from trading in 117 stocks, of which 40 advanced, 49 declined, and 28 traded firm. Stocks advanced for 1834 Investments Limited, AMG Packaging and Paper Company Limited, and Barita Investments Limited. Stocks declined for 138 Student Living Jamaica Limited, 138 Student Living Jamaica Limited Variable Preference, and Access Financial Services Limited. Trading firm were Blue Power Group Limited, CAC 2000 9.5% Cumulative Redeemable Preference Shares, and CAC 2000 Limited. The overall volume leaders were One-on-One Educational Services Limited with over 6 million units, iCreate Limited Ordinary Shares, and Jamaican Teas Limited with over 3 million units. In regional stocks, in Trinidad and Tobago, Plico Investment Fund was the only active security posting over 3,000 shares. Cave Shepherd and Company Limited traded 170 shares on the Barbados Stock Exchange. In Market 84 oil prices eased, reversing earlier gains as U.S. consumer prices unexpectedly rose. Brent crude was down 80 cents to $93.20 a barrel, while West Texas Intermediate crude fell 77 cents to $87.01 a barrel. That was the business report on PBCJ. I'm Danita Rodney. In regional news, in Belize, reporters asked the Prime Minister about the future of Belize's governance system. He says this and other matters related to the Constitution of Belize will be determined through the ongoing constitutional reform process.
Probably the best way to explain or to answer your question is to say that we have just appointed a constitutional committee, or commission, we hope to have House meeting on Friday, next week Friday, to finalize the legislation and to get the work of that commission going. And we're hoping now that they will be able to listen to our citizens to see what ideas that they have, whether should we stay with now the king as the head of state, should we change the system of governance, should we come up with a totally new constitution, should we make amendments to the constitution. We want to hear from our people.
In Trinidad and Tobago, the streets surrounding the Red House came to a standstill on Monday as the parade that preceded the Parliament's opening added to the fanfare of the occasion. It was certainly a parade that was missed over the last 2 years in the midst of the pandemic.
As the new parliamentary term opened, the streets of Port of Spain came to a standstill. Ambassadors from around the world were invited to witness this arm of Trinidad and Tobago's democracy. Then came the local officials, the opposition leader, the Attorney General.
Morning all.
Morning, Mr. Attorney General. Any words before you go in?
Lovely day.
Indeed, it was a lovely day. The Defence Force band added pomp to a ceremony that was diluted due to the pandemic over the last 2 years. Then came the President. Following her, Senate President Christine Kangaloo and House Speaker Bridget Anisette George. The President will then inspect the Guard. With local government elections due in the coming months, Minister of Rural Development Faris Al-Rawi said this session will be an important one.
This is a year of local government reform, so the operationalization schedule and the pieces of law that go along with that are very high on my personal agenda, certainly on the government's agenda. I sit as the chairman of the Legislative Review Committee, and I can tell you that there is a significant amount of law that will be coming to the Parliament.
In a Parliament that has often seemed divided and isolated, this was the Energy Minister's wish.
As we begin this parliamentary sitting, I'm hoping for productivity on behalf of the people of Trinidad and Tobago, and that parliamentarians recognize and honor the oath that they've taken, and always remember that we're here serving the people of Trinidad and Tobago, and sometimes not allow themselves to be dragged by the petty politics that stymie the progress of Trinidad and Tobago.
As the band departed and the music faded, parliamentarians settled down to the business of the people.
In the Cayman Islands, Tourism and Transport Minister Kenneth Bryan, while giving his report at the Caribbean Tourism Organization Destination Media Briefings on Monday, announced a new non-stop service from Los Angeles to the Cayman Islands.
I'm also excited to say that on the 5th of November of this year, our national airline, Cayman Airways, will be launching a new non-stop service to Los Angeles, California, with 160 seats on each flight. Once this service becomes operational, it will be a game changer for our destination. Why? Because it will be easier for travelers from Los Angeles and other feeder markets such as San Francisco and Seattle to have access to our beautiful country. And in fact, they will be able to fly here in less time than you can fly to Hawaii. The Los Angeles route is serviced by our new Boeing 737-8 jet aircrafts, and will also provide more options for travelers originating from Asia and Australia. This will help open up other destinations this will open up our destination to even more markets that haven't been served. And because the new jets are capable of flying longer distances, it gives us the opportunity to consider other unserved markets. For example, Vancouver. This new service, coupled with the 1% increase in capacity, gives the Cayman Islands tourism industry reason to be optimistic about the 2022 and 2023 winter season. And it will help us get back on track from our pre-pandemic visitation numbers.
In international news, the United States' latest mission to the moon has stalled temporarily again due to a fuel leak. The Artemis program is the U.S. second manned moon landing program after the Apollo missions ended in 1972. They were inspired by President John F. Kennedy's 1962 speech, which set off a space race that is still playing out today.
The race to the moon began with a series of triumphs by the Soviet Union. First came Sputnik, the first satellite in orbit. Then the little dog Laika, the first Earth creature in space. And then Yuri Gagarin, the first man in space. The Soviets were winning, and the U.S. was embarrassed.
The fact that the Soviet Union was doing these things in space for the first time, and then the United States did not have comparable missions scheduled, created a widespread feeling among the media and among the public that the United States somehow was falling behind overall.
This year's space budget.
A month after Gagarin's flight, President John F. Kennedy committed the U.S. to put a man on the moon by the end of the 1960s. The following year, in Houston, he gave a speech that galvanized the country around a common purpose.
We choose to go to the moon in this decade and do the other things, not because they are easy, but because they are hard.
Kennedy would not live to see the fulfillment of his pledge. But on July 20th, 1969, an American set foot on the moon at last.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
The U.S. had won the space race.
It was, at its essence, a geopolitical contest for world opinion.
Astronauts have not been back since 1972. But now, with its new heavy-lift Artemis rocket, the U.S. plans to send men and women to the moon again by 2026.
In sports, St. Lucia Kings have jumped into third place in the Hero CPL after Monday night's home win against St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots. Sent into bat at the Darren Salmon National Cricket Stadium, the Kings posted a score of 161 for 9 off their 20 overs. They were led by their skipper, Faf de Pluche, with 60 that included 3 4s and 5 6s. Dwayne Pretorius took 3 for 37. The Patriots may have expected to reach the winning target, but they were bowled out for 100 in 19 overs. Player of the match Matthew Ford took 3 for 19 and David Weiss 3 for 17. The Knights now have 4 points and they lead the Patriots, who also have 4 points for third place by virtue of a superior net run rate. Today, the tournament shifts to Trinidad and Tobago, where the Barbados Royals take on the host Trinbago Knight Riders at 6 p.m. Jamaica time at Queen's Park Oval. Newly appointed Captain Hayley Matthews will lead the West Indies women against New Zealand women in 3 CG United One-Day Internationals from September 16 to September 22 at the Sir Vivian Richards Stadium in Antigua. 17 players are in the provisional squad, which will be trimmed to 13 on the match days. The T20 internationals are scheduled for September 25 to October 6. West Ham striker Michail Antonio has been recalled to the Reggae Boy squad, scheduled to face Argentina in an international friendly on September 27 in the United States. The Jamaica Football Federation released their extended 29-man squad on Monday, with 6 players on standby if needed. That's it for the news on PBCJ. I'm Danita Rodney. You can follow us on our social media platforms at PBCJamaica. Thanks for watching.